Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights, you're delicious and bright. Okay, my delicious babies, yes. So there is a bit of blue sky. The sun is coming in and out, okay? And a little bit windy, but yes, it's nice and pleasant today, nice and warm. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, so there's a little video that I was just starting to listen to, and it'll probably be a one-off, my delicious babies, and it is called on older YouTube, a dose, capital A, space, capital D, dose, capital of, space, and then space, capital D, Dave. Okay, so a dose of Dave is how it should read once typed into the old space bar in YouTube. My delicious babies. Now, he has 1.67 thousand subscribers, my delicious babies. I haven't wrote it down actually, okay? And what he's discussing is, it's only a short video, my delicious babies. I think it's about 8 minutes something. I haven't listened to the rest. I'll listen to the rest of it, my delicious babies. But what he's basically talking about is how much the rent is. Well, I totally agree, my delicious babies, because over the back of where I live, okay, where the lake is, this side. So you got this side, then you got that side. Okay, my delicious babies. Well, some of the rent over there is 900, ka-ching, 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 a month, my delicious babies. Then I got to the point where he was talking about the council tax. Yeah, the council tax again, my delicious babies. What's he saying? It's about 150 something a month, And then of course, for ones who do pay the council tax or do pay the water rates or do pay, then you got all that on top. So how are one's meant to live? And he's talking about, one's, say if they go out doing 37 and a half hours a week, my delicious babies, on minimum wage, if you've got a family, my delicious babies. Well, of course, as we very well know, it doesn't add up, does it, my delicious babies? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, well worth a little listen, but like I said, it'll just more than likely be a one-off, my delicious babies. Okay, I do this from time to time, my delicious babies. Anyway, so what do I want to talk about? Well, yeah. So I was listening to, and with anybody not in that way, lovely Stu Peters, my delicious babies. Okay, all taking a note to me here today, my delicious babies. Okay, I just need to bang my video out to you all, my delicious babies, because there's always somebody who can see and who can hear me. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yeah, I was listening to our lovely Stu Peters yesterday evening, and the dear Brian, with a Y, not an R, Ardis, okay, Dr. Brian Ardis, my delicious babies. Yes. So what has happened now, my delicious babies? Well, there's no surprise. Okay, my delicious babies, because there we are. We knew what was going to happen. Okay. Now some would say, oh well, I don't want to tell you that I told you so. Well, there we are. Well, one, should know myself by now, my little beautifuls that you are, who are so very kind enough to send me a comment, the occasional comment, or put a like or a review. So thank you for that. And who listen to me regularly. You will know that that putrid cretin RFKennedy, because it's all in the name, isn't it? They sort of run by names. They run off their name, isn't it? So there we are. Okay, my delicious babies, just like doctors do. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, for most of them. Okay? There would be very few that I would ever get along with, because most of them, they are lying, deceiving little bees. There we are, my delicious babies. Okay? Just the same as anyone in power. Well, it now turns out, my delicious babies, that, where everybody was bigging up the putrid RFKennedy, my delicious babies, he's changed his tune, hasn't he, my delicious babies? Maybe a little birdie's whispered in his ear, tweet, tweet, tweet. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Okay, so what he said on one hand, and then you've seen the video, you've seen the two videos, so you've seen what he said, and then what he's saying now. Yeah, so that's what they do. It's like Here, fishy, fishy. Reel everybody in. Do you see what I mean? Okay, then they move the goalpost. There we are. Mad delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, the fact of the matter is what has happened with the poor Americans now, the ones who were listening to his bullshit. Well, what's now happened? There we are. They've been effing shafted again. There we are. Mad delicious little babies. And of course, for those of us who do know, we would clearly say, there we are. I told you so. There we are. So, excuse me. So for ones who, you know, would say, oh, well, I don't want to tell you that I told you so. Well, no, I'm going to say it. Okay? And of course, you know, you have others, you know, who are advertising that putrid RFKennedy's book. Oh, yeah. Have a good, it's a good read. Well, of course, you know, they're probably, there we are, on the payroll. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching as well, my delicious little babies, if you follow me. Do you see what I mean? So we knew, for those of us who knew, we knew what was, there we are, damn well coming, my delicious little babies, there we are. And it has just happened. Okay? So, you know, and then, of course, you know, some would say, oh, you know, well, he's been compromised, or, you know, they know, you know, things about him. Well, of course, we know a long time with RFKennedy, that putrid little cretin that he is, okay? I mean, for a start off, I mean, he's so putrid. I mean, who, you know, when they bury his dear wife, bless her, and that's going back many, many, many years ago, Martin Babies, okay? Only to then have her taken back out, bless her dear little heart, in a coffin, and then put what they class as, you know, paupers. Do you know what I mean? Okay? And of course, let's not forget about all his, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, ones can do whatever they want to do in their lives, my little babies, there we are, whatever floats one's boat. But the fact of the matter is, okay, he's used his, shall we say, there we are, his ka-ching, 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 and his status, my little babies, to have many a liaison swinging from the old chandeliers, my little babies, okay? Like I said, I mean, you know, if somebody wants to do that, there we are. Doesn't matter who it is in the world. They can just be done doing whatever they want to do. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to somebody's health now, there we are. I happen to take it very seriously, and I feel very sorry. There we are, for the Americans, my little babies. Do you know what I mean? And of course, you know, let's not forget to do with this business. I've got to put this circle, you know, on you, which they want for all of the Americans, my little babies, okay, so that they can track you, supposedly to do with your health, okay, my little babies, which is all, there we are, a crock of shit. Now, I know about this because over in our old England, my little babies, okay, and I have met a couple who wear these, you know, to do with the old diabetes, my little babies, okay. And how much are these? A pop. 50. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. 50 squids, mad little babies, okay? So, yes, I already know about it. There we are. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies, okay? Well, of course, you know, ones, there we are, bless them, they will be allowed to. And, of course, when they worry about the health, what are they going to do? They're going to, you know, they're going to go and purchase one, aren't they, my little babies? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how this, there we are, do you see how this rocks and rolls, my little babies? Yes. So, of course, you know, I mean, I was in a shop yesterday. I'll just go to quickly tell you this. Was it yesterday or the day before? And there was somebody with his old, you know, one of these watches, my little babies, you know what I mean? And, you know, in order to pay for, you know, I don't know, pop or whatever it was, bing. You see what I mean, mad little babies, okay? Of course, they use the dog and bones to do the same, mad little babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So if you really look at it, for the majority, and we've all been down this road, mad little babies, at some point in our lives, okay? So myself and millions of others at some point, okay? Everybody's been there, we are brainwashed at some point, okay, mad little babies? But it seems that, yeah, it would be so, there we are, super duper easy for ones, there we are, to fall into that trap. There we are, mad little babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So, you know, so you've got this going on, you've got the circle going on. You know, there seems to be no let up, mad little babies, okay? So if one's out there are still advertising that putrid cretin Robert F. Kennedy, okay, they're still advertising his books, Martialistic Babies, well, roll on, okay, because there's going to come a point, and I'm done saying it in my camera, right, and rightfully so, and I've got no skin on my bird trace, old-fashioned Jamaican saying, Martialistic Babies, okay, that if they've got lots of subscribers or whatever else, okay, there we are, the numbers are going to start, there we are, going down. There we are, Martialistic Babies. Do you see what I mean? Because ones are not going to believe, there we are, the bullshit anymore. You've got other ones who are going to purchase these damn things now, just like, very sadly, you're going to have others who are going to go, do you see what I mean, Martialistic Babies? Because I hang on, there we are, every single word now, okay? But if ones cannot see it by now, okay, and you need to listen to, I usually duck go at Martialistic Babies, Stu Peters, Stu Space Peters, and then if you scroll down, you know, it should say Stu Peters Network Rumble. And then you hear that part, the latest video, Martialistic Babies, okay, where he's talking to Dr. Brian Ardis, okay, and yeah, I mean, there we are, they're just done telling it the way it is, you see what I mean? But of course, for a lot, very sadly, we have to say, bless them, the American mankind public, well, you know, and especially if they do not do their research, there we are, then very sadly, I'm so sorry to have to say this, there we are, but they're going to get what they're given, isn't it? Another old-fashioned Jamaican saying, Martialistic Babies, guy. So this is the state of affairs, Martialistic Babies, guy. But I never trust him long time. No, I did not. Do you see what I mean? You wouldn't trust your man there, only a figure of speech, as far as you could throw him. Do you see what I mean, Martialistic Babies, guy? But this is what they're doing. But they say what they do is they give a false sense of security. It's just like a little blankie. Okay, Martialistic Babies, so you imagine you give somebody a little blankie, especially when they're little babies, bless you. You give them, you know, they would usually have a little favourite little blankie. You know, you try and take the blankie away from them, and they'll throw tantrums, they'll cry, they'll get upset, they'll stamp their feet. Do you see what I mean? In some cases, little toddlers will throw things. Do you understand what I mean, Martialistic Babies, Kai? Well, this is what it's like. So, very sadly, for the ones who are brainwashed, you see, if you try to tell them, you know, well, this man here is not for your Maha or MAGA health, okay? It's like a blankie, isn't it? They do not want you to take their blankie away from them. You know, they like to watch the box in the corner of the room, the putrid box in the corner of the room, Martialistic Babies, okay, which causes all the effing problems now. There we are, Martialistic Babies, okay? Because you got fake journalists, Martialistic Babies, okay? Do not know their backside from the flipping Albert. And they just want to hang on, there we are, every single word, isn't it? Do you say? So we can say what's going to happen next. There we are, Martialistic Babies. It's so, there we are, predictable. It's just unreal, Martialistic Babies, kind. So for all of us out there, well done to all of us. Do you see what I mean? Okay, there we are, because we cut through the crap. Do you see what I mean, Mad? There we are, Martialistic Babies, we cut through the crap. Okay, Martialistic Babies, you can be done seeing. There we are, what they're doing. Okay, Martialistic Babies. Now then, finally, what I want, no, before that, right, so down the road from where I live, okay, it's probably about, I don't know, about 4 miles. 4 mile. Okay, Martialistic Babies. Excuse me once again. I was told that, you see, you got a lot of landlords, Martialistic Babies. I was told this yesterday evening, Martialistic Babies, okay? And you got a lot of landlords, okay? Well, of course, things have been going on a long time, haven't they? Like, you know, hoteliers, everything, you know, selling their damn soul, you know what I mean? So that ones can have 3 square meal a day, Martialistic Babies, walk around with free mobile dog and burns, be dressed to the nans, have delicious food when we happen to have a beautiful dear little families, blessing our old England, you know, who are waiting for years and years and years just to get home, Martialistic Babies. Not to mention, bless our dear homeless. Do you see what I mean, Martialistic Babies? Yes. But so what it is down the road from myself, like I say, about 4 mile away. I heard yesterday evening that ones are moving, they are out of the area because some landlords, they're taking ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching off the putrid governments. Mad little babies in our old England, and they're called, what's it called? HO or HMO or something like this. Anyway, what it basically is that one's, I can only assume, coming from different countries, mad little babies, yes, that they're moving into these places until, so it's like a temporary, there we are, accommodation, mad little babies can. And until there we are, they will be moved somewhere else. Okay, so it's a bit like, that doesn't mean they've just got an itch. It's a bit like a hostel. There we are. It's like little hostels, mad little babies can. And some of the landlords now, or landwomen, you know, they we are again have sold their souls. Okay. Not taking into consideration the other residents who happen to live in the area, okay, mad little babies, and of course the consequence of this is that apparently there seems to be some destruction in that area. There we are, mad little babies, okay, and the residents are not liking it. So many, there we are moving out. Okay, mad little babies, well, this is what's happening. So that's what's going on there, okay? And I have every reason to believe that there's probably a few properties on this road, there we are, where the same thing's happening. Okay, mad little babies, if you remember what I said on a video, it's got to be a few weeks ago now, where I was noticing, there we are, a very fast turnaround. Okay, mad little babies, okay? And usually they do not look after where we are, where they're living. They do not, you know, they... well, sometimes, you would see some, and sometimes you just wouldn't see anybody at all. Mad little babies, you just don't really, I personally don't really see them. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, it would be on an occasion, okay? But the turnaround, there we are, is very fast. Okay, mad little babies, okay? So this appears, there we are, to be happening, there we are, in many places, mad little babies. But I do feel sorry for the residents of the area down there, because they shouldn't have to feel that way. They should not have to feel that way, mad little babies, but that is what is going on there, very sadly. I also seen another 2 pieces this morning. Whether this is true or not, I do not know. Okay, mad little babies. What have they done? Shut off, sorry. No need to stumble there. The Eiffel Tower in France, mad little babies, top up, because what they're saying is because of the heat. Okay, mad little babies, whether that is true or not, I do not know. Okay, I just sort of glanced. I never even clicked on it. I just glanced and then carried on scrolling through, mad little babies. So that is what's going on there. Meanwhile, over in Bournemouth, in our old England, mad little babies, I was only halfway through it because I thought, well, you've just put down what you put down, but you're showing us the pier. Mind you, he was also, the uploader, bless, showing us the beach in Bournemouth. And I mean, it's a beautiful beach, mad little babies over in England. But it seems to be, there we are, cluttered year after year with rubbish. Okay, mad little babies, I'm stumbling again on this, I'm not changing my video. And apparently there were farts that broke out on the beach, mad little babies. Was it 30? So we've got the number 3 again. Must remember, you see, the numbers to pay attention to: 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 17, 33, 45. Do you know what I mean? Mad little babies, okay? 74. You only have to add the numbers. Do you see what I mean? Mad little babies, okay? So they run off these numbers. And then, of course, you had 7 Old Bill. I think you had an ambulance, and you had the Old Bill cars, which, I call Old Bill. Some would call the police. Okay, so we can clearly see, there we are, what is going on here, mad delicious little babies, okay? To myself, it seems like there we are, complete effing chaos. Okay, mad delicious little babies. So there's a lot that's going on, mad delicious little babies. We've got it all in different, there we are, different countries, mad delicious little babies. There we are, what is going on, okay? France has had a lot of, there we are, problems. That's been very problematic, okay, over these past years, mad delicious little babies. So Ireland has had the same, do you know what I mean? So, It seems that there we are. There appears to be chaos everywhere, my delicious little babies. Okay, and finally, now I heard about this. There we are, quite a while back. Okay, my delicious little babies, and I thought it's only a matter of time, isn't it? So I was listening to our lovely, not in that way, not in that way with anyone, our lovely iconic, I always tap in on old YouTube, my delicious little babies, iconic, space, Gareth, space, arc. Okay, my delicious little babies, of course, you can also find it on our lovely, their Dear Dad's website, our lovely, not in that way, not in that way, davidarc.com. So it's his name and his surname and then .com. Okay, my delicious little babies, you'll also be able to find trending on there. Okay, with iconic. Doesn't mean no. Just got another reach. Anyway, my delicious little babies. And yes, I've heard about this anyway. My delicious little babies. I just find it utterly hilarious. So Trouble Trump, okay, he's got a new fragrance out. My delicious little babies. I already, there we are, been done knowing about this, okay? And what's it called? Fart. Now, could it be fart? I don't know, my delicious little babies. I do not like that word personally. Maybe it's a slip of the tongue. Well, how much is it to purchase this perfume or aftershave, my delicious little babies? So his would be $199. Is it dollars or 199.99? You may as well say 200. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And hers would also be 199, I think 99. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So, yeah. So, if you wanted to purchase his or her perfume or aftershave, my delicious little babies, well, that is, there we are, what it would cost you. Can anybody see? I mean, I know I'm not talking to any of our delicious little babies who already know this, okay? I'm talking to our delicious little babies who do not know. Can anybody see what the crack is here now? You see what I mean? There we are, my delicious little babies. You see what I mean? Every place, there we are. They want to make ka-ching, 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 isn't it? Do you see what I mean, okay? And what the sad part about it, my delicious little babies, I've got no problem if a businessman, businesswoman, whatever it is, wants to make ching, 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 whether they sell T-shirts, caps, hoodies, sweaters, whatever, shorts, cups, bags, whatever they want to do, perfume, aftershave, whatever they want to do. But when you can see that there we are ones, well, it's like working for monsters, isn't it, my delicious little babies? So the fact of the matter is, then what they then do is then, for some, they may not have a lot of ka-ching. So then what they then do, there we are, is they go and save up the ka-ching, ching, ching, just to go and buy this fragrance, my delicious little babies. Can you see what's going on here? So not only have ones in the world, before even say it been poisoned, okay, then they then decide to go and purchase from somebody who was putting out the poison, my delicious little babies, who of course was doing that, there we are, for somebody else and somebody else. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? I tell you what, it's effing, there we are, laughable, man. And of course, if I was a millionairess, which I'm certainly not that one bit, okay, and neither would I want to be, my delicious little babies, I'm quite happy, there we are, the way that I am, okay? I wouldn't be going out and buying any of that, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? It's just feeding the monster. There we are. It's just feeding the monster. Do you see what I'm saying to you, my delicious little babies? So at the end of the day, no. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, they're playing everyone. There we are, like a fiddle. Okay? They come out from behind the curtain and they get wheeled back behind the curtain again, my delicious little babies. And ones, there we are, continuously, there we are, fall for this shot. And you can bet your bottom dollar, wherever this is sold, okay, my delicious little babies, there we are. You watch the queues now. Do you know what I mean, okay? Or probably, I don't know, the orders are just flipping sky high. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody's got to have a bottle. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Let's not forget about what happened in, 2021 and, and all that, my delicious little babies. Okay, well, actually before that, okay, where everybody, they just wanted very sadly, so I'm not taking the pee, my delicious little babies, but they all wanted to get a little bottle of that, didn't they? What they thought was, best things in life are free. Well, then they soon discover now that kind of best things in life are free is not very good at all, my delicious babies, guy. But yet they still continue these now then to take the complete effing P, man. And of course, ones are going to fall for the shot. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies, guy? So ones are just got to be done. There we are, seeing what the crack is and what is really going on. But they won't. And this is the sad part about it, my delicious little babies. There's going to be millions out there, where they just need to purchase. You know what I mean? They probably miss a bill for some of them just so that they can go out and get that perfume or aftershave, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So I'm not advertising it in a good way, my delicious little babies. No, I am not. I'm just, there we are, pointing things out now then, but I'd already, there we are, heard about this. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? And of course, it's all in a nice gold box and everything, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, yes. Anyway, so that's the end of my video. It's so effing hilarious, there we are, it's just unreal. Do you know what I mean? But never in my lifetime would you ever see me pay that much ka-ching, ching, ching, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change for a bottle of perfume or aftershave, man. I can find, there we are, many more things, good uses, there we are, to put my change to. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? With myself, I've had, don't get me wrong, your expensive, there we are, perfumes over the years, there we are, my delicious little babies. Yes, I have. Okay, it's not what I'm wanting. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies? I would rather go and buy something that's a squid, or say £1.70 or something like that, like a little body spray, or a 10 ka-ching bottle of perfume, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It serves its purpose. Do you know what I'm saying? And for most days, I don't even use any of that. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? I do use deodorant, fair enough. But, I'm just not material in that way, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? But you watch now, there we are, how that goes through the roof. You watch. Do you know what I mean? They're going to make flipping millions. Ka-ching, ching, ching. You know what I mean? Because ones are just not getting it. There's many, bless us, who do get it, but you've got millions who very sadly do not. I'm pretty sure that some will even skip meals. There we are. My delicious little babies just go and buy a bottle. How sick in a flipping noddle is that, my delicious little babies? There we are. But this is the world we're living in. You see what I mean? That's why when I always say about materialism, ones need to start, there we are, looking at really, there we are, what was behind all of this in the first place, my delicious little babies, but ones choose not to. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Because if you do that, there we are, it bursts a bubble. And they do not want their bubble burst. Do you see what I mean? So if they have something around them, whether it be clothes, shoes, perfume, aftershave, the latest jeans, the latest tops, the latest trainers, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? Then they're feeling very comfortable and nice with their damn selves. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? And then 5 minutes later, there we are, they want something else. Do you see what I'm saying? But this was brought in, there we are, by design. There we are, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? So what about just enjoying the land, enjoying the greenery, enjoying, the peace and tranquility and everything like this now then? But no. I mean, you look at Crimbo, the fake Crimbo, and the fake Boxing Day, my delicious little babies seem to have the days mixed up somewhere. My delicious little babies in old England, and I suppose there we are in some places in the world as well, my delicious little babies. And they'll stand there, Boxing Day, start from like 4 a.m. in the morning, stood outside shops so that they can go and get things in the sales. And it still happens now, my delicious little babies. How many, I'm not too sure. I do not go out doing surveys on this, my delicious little babies. But that's, but it's all material. And half the time they buy things that they're just going to shove in a cupboard and just not use, or stick in a wardrobe and not use, my delicious little babies. Then they're wondering, there we are, why they even bought the damn thing in the first place, my delicious little babies. But this is the world that ones wanted to build for us, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay, anyway, that's the end of my video. But yeah, I feel sorry, for anybody that we are who just feels the need, to go and buy this and maybe skip bills and everything in order to do that. There's something that we are not correct up there to do with that, my delicious little babies, okay? So that's all I'm going to be done saying today, so lights off, my delicious little babies. So yeah, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get, there we are, one life, my little honey bunnies, okay? Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves, there we are, and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. But yes, for the ones of us who can see and hear, we know, there we are. But for others, very sadly, they do not. And for myself, there we are, I found it very, very, very sad. But what is it going to take? What is it going to take? There we are, for ones to see. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. They clearly, for some reason, maybe they're just not ready yet. I don't know. I have no idea, my delicious little babies. I have no idea. Okay. So until my next video, okay, you just look after yourselves now, my little beautifuls. I've no idea how long my video is going to take to upload. Yesterday was again hours and hours, you know what I mean? But there we are, this is the way it goes. And I will speak to you again soon. Oh, yeah, one last thing, yeah. So my data's run out again, my delicious little babies, okay? I think I'm going to have to go back up to the dog and burn shop, my delicious little babies, because my data, there we are, it's just been completely swallowed. My phone is heating up, so that's heating up as well, my delicious little babies. So it's going, there we are, somewhere. And of course, it ends up somewhere where somebody else is making ching, ching, ching. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies, yes? Anyway, I don't know what it is with my dog and burns. I just do not know. But I'm sure that once I speak to, somebody who knows, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, there we are, I can maybe get to the bottom of this, you know what I mean, okay? Because I've looked through apps and all of these things now, but to, get rid of some. But anyway, but there's clearly, there we are, something else going on with my dog and burn, okay? Because after all, we're all spied on, my delicious little babies. Even if you switch your dog and burn off, they're still spying on you. Okay, my delicious little babies. So much love. Wherever you are in the world, please have a super duper delicious day. Please take care of yourselves and please try to take care of others. How I love you so. And thank you once again for listening. I'm going to go and make something to eat now. Love ya. Thank you. Goodbye.